What's going on, ladies and DeGents? Welcome back to another fun-filled episode of the Distinguished DeGents podcast. You're one of many homes of degenerate gambling. I'm one half of the Distinguished DeGents. My name is Steve, not Big Bucks of Beta. But the guy on the right over here is my co-host. He is my partner in gambling. It is the one and only. It is Jason Money Mansman. Money Mansman. We have to discuss that horrendous Thursday night football game. But how did you make out in terms of the bets? Because I couldn't hit a fucking thing last night. Everything just did not go my way.
Well, I didn't do that well. What really hurt me was I thought the Vikings were going to win. They didn't play a bad game. I mean, it was close. Got really lucky. My Justin Jefferson over 5.5 receptions prop, that one hit by early second quarter. So that was a no sweat. And then Matthew Stafford, 2 passes in the final 4 minutes, up 8, gets me the over on my pass attempts prop. So those 2 bets.
Oh, there you go.
They saved me from a losing Thursday because I was on the Vikings and that didn't work out. And yeah, we'll get into that game. But all in all, I survived. Sounds like I had a better night than you did.
Yeah, just every prop bet I made, just again, it did not go my way. I had Vikings over 25.5 team total. They got to 20. I just needed one more touchdown. They couldn't get it done. I think I had I'm trying to look through my bets now, but that was one that really missed. Oh, I had Vikings first half on the money line, Vikings first half on the spread. Neither of those hit because it fucking tied. It killed a parlay I had built that started with Minnesota, so now I get to rebuild it, which is nice. Sam Darnold, 250 yards plus money. I think he was like 10 yards shy. Like, it was fucking dead in the water. So literally, it was just like, I feel like the handicap wasn't terrible. Just didn't really go my way.
That face mask, he probably gets that too. That's the crazy thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's the fucking unfortunate thing. But we got to get into this. Okay, so Minnesota Vikings 20, Rams 30. Rams win as the home underdog, plus 120 on the money line. Covered the 3, over 48.5 was the total on the total spread. Yeah, Sam Darnold, 18 for 25, 240 yards, 2 touchdowns. Aaron Jones, only 58 rushing yards. Justin Jefferson, 8 catches, 115 yards. The Rams, on the other hand, Matt Stafford, DGen player of the game, 25 for 34, 279, 4 touchdowns. Did get the pick, though. Kyren Williams, 97 yards, did get a receiving touchdown, so his touchdown streak does continue. Cooper Kupp, welcome back, 51 catching yards, 1 touchdown. Puka Nacua, that was a big miss on our handicap. I did not anticipate him starting in this game.
Yeah, I didn't know he was going to play.
And then just all of a sudden, he was announced he was starting. He was back. And I felt like a real donko. Because had I really thought about it, and if it was Puka and Cooper Kupp coming back, it's an entirely different game. But no, this is what I get. This is literally what I deserve. Literally, that's just how I felt. Like, having seen him come in, I just felt like a donko. It was just really unfortunate. Kind of an unfortunate handicap. But the penalties, oh my fucking lord, the penalties. They were so bad, Money Mansman. So bad.
Vikings, it seemed like every time they got off the field, there was another penalty. And I will say, I am kicking myself a little because I had the right handicap. Like, I had a chance to save myself. If you remember when we were handicapping the game, I looked back at the Rams' previous games and I was like, they only lost to Detroit by 3. They lost to Green Bay by 5. They played some good teams pretty close. I discounted the fact that they got their 2 receivers back. Basically the opposite of the cluster injury fade. It really should have been them getting 2 receivers back. I should have upgraded them. I didn't. that was a mistake on my part. I really should have taken the Rams plus points under the circumstances. Short week.
Yeah.
I'm kicking myself because getting those two receivers back, the Rams offense definitely looked a lot better than maybe they have been. And, other than that, though, Vikings could have won. Just too many costly penalties at bad times that just kept
Oh my
drives alive.
fucking.
Terrible.
I mean, how many fucking like illegal shifts, illegal formations were called on big drives, big play moments that just get called back? I mean, I'm looking at the team stats right now. Total penalties in the game. And I was texting you during the game, and every time a penalty, I'm just counting it down. I'm like, this is literally, I think it was like 5 plays in a row, a flag was thrown, but 15 penalties in the game. The one penalty of the face mask, though, in the end zone, when the guy's literally 3 feet in front of the ref, don't get that call.
Yeah.
Give him the safety, though. Yeah, refs are supposed to identify a hip drop tackle. They're supposed to call PIs, but literally when a face mask is right in front of your fucking face, you miss that. It makes no fucking sense. Like, these refs are just, again, this is the kind of game that like ruins gambling at times because it just makes it so it's a game where honestly it's just unbettable. We really might have to start looking into these refereeing crews and just seeing like, okay, is this crew here? All right, well, I'm not betting it because the game's just not going to swing in the direction that it should, or it's not going to be a fair game. It's going to be totally biased.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about it. I'm trying to go back to the ratings here. I'm pretty sure that was one of the key things that when you looked at like the Rams penalties compared to Minnesota, one of the worst teams on offense picking up penalties. Rams are pretty good not picking up penalties. So that was one advantage that we had, but
yeah, and honestly, it just was like the timeliness of the penalties. Like the Rams, not really too many, like on a third down where they got a key stop. Like the Vikings, where there was a lot of third down plays, they get the stop, all of a sudden there's a flag. A couple bullshit pass interferences too that like really shouldn't have been called to begin with. Probably with a different crew, it wasn't. Just really just a bad for me. It was a bad ref game. I'm not going to use that as an excuse as to why the Vikings lost. I'm not going to say like this was a bad bet that I lost. No, like I watched that game and not really did I feel like that the Vikings were the right side. Really, even in the first half, I was kind of like, this game's going to be a lot closer. Rams +3 is looking like the way we should have went the whole time. And then it wasn't until the fourth quarter I was like, yeah, this shit's dead in the water. Like, it's no fucking good. But it wasn't because, like, the refs blew it for them. I think the Vikings, just in key moments, when they did come up clutch, they fucked up on the offensive side of the ball. When they didn't connect, well, it was just a killer moment. You lost all momentum. Now you gave the Rams the ball. Now they're going to drive it down your throat once again. So, I mean, the Vikings didn't play the best, in my opinion, and I think that's why they lost. The Rams just played better. They had that injury return bounce back.
Yeah, getting those receivers back is big, and maybe the Rams could make something happen. Like they've lost a few close games. Maybe the Rams could get something going here.
I mean, and again, like I should have known. I picked the Rams over on the win totals and on my futures bet. Kind of going back to that thing where it's like, go back to your futures. What were you thinking about this team to begin with? I know injuries play a key role.
Rams to make the playoffs that I think I have. And they're very much alive. They're not completely dead yet.
The NFC West is wide open. It is not like a clear. It's not a clear winner yet. This, especially essentially what's like the halfway point of the season.
Yeah, and the Rams get to play Seattle on a long rest, so they get a nice 10-day break before they play Seattle next week. So
and the Seahawks are coming off of a big Bills game at home, which is going to be very interesting. Don't know if there's a Bills trend really. No biting kneecaps for the Bills, but can't get them all.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Can't get them all, but yeah.
We got 15 chances to do better.
Yeah, we got 15 chances for the rest of this week. No bye weeks. God, yeah, the Russ jersey, if you guys can tell, it has remained on my body. This is sort of a punishment. Again, it's going to be a reminder of why betting on the Jets against the Steelers was just a terrible, terrible move. Russell Wilson might be the real deal. So until I get a bet right, it's going to stay on.
Well, you're going to get one right. I mean, you got 15 chances. You can't go on with 15.
Theoretically, I will. But no, for the remainder of this episode, the Russ jersey stays on. It's been a cold streak lately, so got to get that shit right. That's really just what it comes down to.
Take control in the Kaiser bet. Ride the heat wave.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I'm not doing good on there. Not doing good on the fucking... not doing good on the Kaiser. Haven't done well with my bets lately. Need to finish above 500 this week. That's the goal. Like, can I just get above 500 on my picks? Because right now it's looking fucking dreadful. Yeah, dead wrong. But yeah, like we said, we got 15 games on the on the week 8 slate. Money Mansman. I got the games rolling on the ticker, but before we get started, one question for you. We kind of talked about this offline, but this is going to be a very hard week to handicap. This feels very much like a week where the books and the pros might get a bounce back after 2 weeks of the publics essentially just slamming the books and like fucking raking all the money in. So what are your overall thoughts? Like, why do you think this is going to be a big bounce back week for the pros?
I think there's a couple weird spots that people aren't going to take advantage of. And I feel like the Rams it sometimes seems like the Thursday night games are preludes of things to come. And the Rams was another one where they got guys back. Minnesota off maybe difficult loss against Detroit. Maybe that was the prelude to a couple teams in bad spots who maybe are going to be giving up a lot of points this week. I'm already starting to give away. I may make some picks that are quite foolish. And I might not make those picks if I hadn't, been successful the past 2 weeks. Because I had we both had good weeks during the wedding, crazy enough. So
yeah, we did. We actually, with the quick spots. So I actually took that into consideration on my end. So some of these games, I did real big deep dives. Other games, I kind of just went with my gut, and I was like, okay, because these lines are very fluky. These lines are very big. This is the first week we have double-digit spreads. Like in multiple games, not just like one big game. Multiple games. And a lot of weird trendy situations, a lot of weird lines. I think the pros are even all over the place. It seems like I've like SGPN. I know BetUS with Steve Fezzik. They're all over the place with their picks too. Like some of their logic too came out a little weird. I know Action Network, they're kind of wishy-washy. Nobody seems to be consistent this week. So my goal is to kind of like just, again, I'm going to look at the trends. I don't know if every spot is going to be a spot where I just roll with the trend alone and just let it ride. There's going to be a few, but there are some where I'm just going to say, okay, well, there's a trend, but like, what's the spot? What's this other side that I'm looking at here? So that's going to be the key thing for these kinds of weeks.
Yeah.
But any other final words, comments, concerns?
No, we got a lot of games to get to, so we got them knees to chest. So let's get going. Yeah,
we do. All right. Knees to chest. Arizona Cardinals going on the road after a Monday night win. 4.5-point road dogs now, plus 164 on the money line. Over-under is set at 46.5 points. They are traveling to Miami, where Tua Tagovailoa is set to return at the quarterback position and start for this game. Minus 4.5, minus 196 on the money line for the Dolphins. Arizona getting 53% of the money, 61% of the bets on the spread, according to FanDuel. Miami, a 1-5 straight-up team. They're 2-4 ATS. Arizona, they're above 500, but they're above 500 on the spread. They're 3-4 on the record. Mansman, I believe I deferred to you, so this is my go to kick things off here.
Curious to see what you do with it.
Well, to start with, when I originally handicapped this, I did this at 3. The fact this went up to 4.5, I'm a little more confident in my pick.
Tua is guaranteed to play. He is back.
Well, so my thinking was like, because they already kind of announced it earlier that like Tua was set to return. So I kind of thought when this 3 line came out, it was a little bit of respect towards Arizona getting a win on Monday night against a phony fucking Chargers team, in my opinion. But turns out that had nothing to do with it. Now you're getting an extra 1.5 for Arizona. And Arizona's my pick this week. I think Dolphins with Tua might be the better team overall. I think if you look at the power rankings week 1, Dolphins are clearly ahead of the Cardinals, but in reality, I don't think these two quarterbacks are that much different. I think Kyler runs the ball a little bit more. That's about it. Honestly, they're kind of like the inverse of each other in separate conferences, like Kyler in the NFC and Tua in the AFC, minus the concussions too. But the Cardinals actually have a really good track record covering this spot as a non-conference road dog. They're 3-0 and 1 ATS as a non-conference road team since 2022 when Kyler Murray starts. Since 2020, even if you took the Buffalo game into consideration with that 5.5 to 6.5 point swing, you're either looking at a 7-2-1 ATS record or 8-1-1 ATS record with Arizona in non-conference games since 2020. So getting the points with Arizona is a key to this handicap. So that's why I really like it at the 4.5. And honestly, looking at this Dolphins team, even when Tua was under center, they barely beat the Jaguars at home by 3. Didn't get the cover there. That's a loss that's a win that's not really aging well whatsoever. And then they had a Bills home game in primetime, and even before the concussion, Tua was not playing great. He was not playing up to the par that, a lot of us would have had expectations for in the offseason. So I don't know. Like, this line opened at 6. It went all the way down to 3. We're now kind of meeting in the middle at 4.5. I know there might be value in betting on Tua in this Miami on a bounce back, but I just don't think that's the right side to begin with. I know Arizona won a fluky fucking Monday night game. They held Justin Herbert and the Chargers to 0 touchdowns, though. So I think the Cardinals defense might be a little bit underrated, too, in this spot. I don't know what our friend Commissioner Kirkland thinks about fantasy players this week. I'd be very hesitant to just go and auto play all your Dolphins and expect like a 20 and 30 burger per person. So I'm going with Arizona on the points. That's my handicap.
So you got to like Arizona under, because if you look at it, Arizona is actually second in rush yards per play, 5.5, second in the league. So I would think if you like Arizona, you got to like the under in the game, I would think.
Yeah, at 46.5, it just seems a little bit steep. I mean, again, like that's a 26-20 game, but I mean, I could see this being 24-10, 24-13, keeping it relatively low. Like, I just don't know if I'm going to bank on Tua shining and performing at his 100% best, especially coming off of that third concussion. And I'm sure he's ready. I'm sure he feels healthy. But, I mean, again, even when he really wasn't performing all that great. So I just don't know if this is the spot I really want to do it yet.
Here's the thing for Tua. Of all the games to start out with, guess where Arizona's defense is ranking against the pass?
Oh, God. They're not the greatest. I want to say it's like they rank like 22nd, 21st.
26th in opponent pass yards a game. Last in opponent yards per pass. This is a Tyreek Hill week to me with Tua back. Tyreek nearly cried with Tua back. I'm on the other side, and here's why, and you should know this. This is the weird thing with these teams. When the Bills and Dolphins are set to play each other the next week, normally you would think letdown spots, look-ahead spots. But if you look at it, week 1 it happened. You look at last year as well. The Bills and Dolphins always seem to, and sometimes, especially when they're running well, obliterate teams before they play each other the following week. The Dolphins do play in Buffalo next week, but for whatever reason, and I don't know why, they seem to get super focused and play really well. They tend to play really well the week before they play each other. And I just think this feels like the handicap I should have made with the Rams, where Arizona going cross country off of a Monday Night Football game, going to Miami, getting their quarterback back. This seems like the spot for Miami. I'm going with the Dolphins here. I will say one caveat, though, if you're thinking of, tailing me. Arizona has been my team this year where I just can't seem to get them right. I bet on them, they lose. I bet against them, they win. I mean, I got them when they went to Green Bay, I got that one right. But other than that, I think I bet on them against Washington. They got murdered. I bet on the Chargers last week. It didn't work out. I just have not had good luck betting these Arizona Cardinal games. So just keep that in mind. I don't even know if I'm going to play it.
You Dolphin! You Dolphin!
Yeah, that's all I got to say. Fuck the Dolphins.
And then obviously over. If you like the Dolphins, you got to like the over.
You got a couple options here, folks. If you like Arizona, go with the under. If you like the Dolphins, go with the over. I mean,
both and you win one of them.
Maybe. Or you'll win nothing. We'll find out. All right, next up, it's the first divisional matchup on the week. It's the New Jersey Jetropolitans laying 7 on the road as favorites, minus 335. Over under set at 41.5. They are traveling to New England at Foxborough, where New England is catching 7. They're plus 270 on the money line as well. The Jets are getting 88% of the money on the spread. They're 75% of the tickets. Oh, this is an ugly game. This is an ugly line. Mansman, why? I feel like you're going to talk me into the laying the 7, but let's see what you got.
I mean, the Jets are due for a bounce back win.
You know what? Go ahead. I'll be right back. Just give me a minute.
Yeah. No, it's okay. You're not going to miss much. I think in the contest, I'm going to have to play the Jets 7 here. Like we saw this game in New York. New England's coming back from London. They're a soft football team. The Jets are at 2-5. They've lost 4 straight. Don't you kind of feel like with the Jets, this is like they have to win this game? I feel like this is inevitably where the Jets win by like 4 touchdowns. The Jets are back, and then they lose next week. Like I'm not. This is like a no. I don't think I'm playing this game. Honestly, I don't think I'm playing this game for our contest. I think you have to go with Jets minus 7 because I don't think you've seen anything from New England. Like they got abused in London last week. People are calling the team soft. They look completely outcoached. Devontae giving inspirational speeches. Like, I don't know, man. This just feels like the Jets. This feels like their last stand. The type of games they used to win with Robert Saleh, where it was like, you thought the Jets were dead. There was no reason to bet them, and then they'd win like a fluky game against a shit team. This feels like the Jets win against a shit team where they win by like 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, I get it. Look, here's a Cinny. I'm doing this just in advance because I already know that, like, I have a feeling that, like, something fucking fishy is going to happen this game. Rodgers might tear his ACL. Yeah, I'm just taking the Cinny now because I have a bad feeling. So I'm doing this. Oh.
2 of the most penalized teams in the league.
I'm dreading this handicap. I'm really dreading this. I really wanted to fade the Jets here. I really did. The Pats haven't covered in 5 straight as well. This is a battle of the auto fades. This is one I'm just going to go with the divisional road favorite trend. And I'm going to pray it hits. the Pats have scored a whopping 3 points in back-to-back games against the Jets. That was when Zach Wilson was quarterback or some other third stringer. They're now going against Aaron Rodgers. We saw what happened. I think it was week 2. Jets didn't really perform there either, and it was 24-3. I get Drake May is an upgraded quarterback, but is he really going to perform here in this spot against this Jets defense? The key thing you missed too, Hassan Reddick is now finally joining the Jets. He's going to be starting in this game. And this to me is like look, the Hassan Reddick shit is hilarious. But I think it's a much needed upgraded defense. I think it's a better pickup at this point than Devontae Adams was. Because when they picked up Devontae, you were like, that's not the problem. You were like, they didn't need more receivers. Like, the problem is Rodgers is just throwing bad. The Jets defense, no sacks on the year. They just have not been good at the D-line. I think Hassan Reddick is a much-needed upgrade that they need. I think they're going to be able to pressure the quarterback, especially against this Pats team. They are bottom 5 in red zone efficiency. They are bottom 5 in rush offense. They just cannot figure out how to get Ramondre Stevenson moving. The Pats O-line, they have allowed this
too. Like their entire offense is terrible.
And the main thing too, the Pats O-line, they have allowed the second most sacks to teams all year, 25 just in 7 weeks. They're literally right behind Cleveland. That goes to show you like how bad the Pats offense is set up. It's nothing against Drake May. I didn't even think Aaron Rodgers is going to throw a pick. I threw a half unit on that bet because Aaron Rodgers will find a way to fuck it up. He will get the ball to New England. I just don't have faith that New England's going to be able to catch up to this Jets team. Like, at this point, it's all systems go. This is pretty much the bounce back spot that the Jets need after that Sunday night loss to the Steelers. Like, it's a significant downgrade at quarterback, too, from Russ to Drake May.
Yeah. Oh,
not by much, still.
I don't do this very often. This is my under game of the week. I normally don't do this, but let's into this handicap, right? The Jets, DJ Reed, and Michael Carter, full participants at practice. So the Jets secondary is going to get a boost. Meanwhile, on the Jets side of the coin, Morgan Moses injured. Elijah Vera Tucker is out for the game. So you have cluster injuries on the offensive line. Your boy, Alan Lazard, who you just traded a third-round pick for me, is doubtful. So couple injuries on the Jets side of the offense as well. And we talked about New England. They are one of the worst offenses in the league. The Jets are right there. This line is still 41. These teams only combined to score 27 last time. This looks like a very good underplay. So I'll go. This will be my under of the week. A little bonus play for everyone.
I have another game I like more for the under, but I love that everything you just said. That literally was like what I was going to regurgitate as well. And again, like I just said, the Pats have scored 3 points and 3 points in the last 2 games against the Jets. And the game before that, they scored 10. So, like, this is just a letdown. Like, it used to be a Pats hammer spot, but now it's just, like, it's just pure letdown.
Yeah, not any.
Honestly,
not anymore.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to look up something real fast if I can. I wonder what Drake May 0 touchdown passes looks like right now on the player props. Because that could be an interesting one. Yeah,
Michael Carter being back's huge for them. They do have some injuries in the safety position, though. That's it. My thinking is, though, New England doesn't really – they're not a team that throws a lot of deep passes. So the safety – if it was like Kansas City, I think maybe – but I don't see them being able to take the top off the defense. So
yeah, Drake May, no touchdowns is almost 2-1. I think I'm going to play that. Like, I just want to see if it hits. Like, just for shits and giggles. Yeah, Drake May, no passing touchdowns. That could be fun. All right. Next up, and I do love the under. So, next up, the second non-conference game of the week. We actually got 8 of them for week 8. The Philadelphia Eagles, cry, Eagles fly. 2.5 point road dogs plus 130 on the money line. They're going to Cincinnati, just going up they're just going cross state. Cincy's laying 2.5, they're minus 154. The over-under is 47.5 points. Cincy is getting 55% of the money on the spread, but the Eagles are getting 57% of the tickets. Money Mansman. Oh, wait, it's my turn, right? It is. Got it. Okay. Just give me one quick second. So, a lot of sharps, for some reason, are weary of this game. I think a lot of sharps are thinking that this could be a Cincy get-right spot. This could be where Cincy shows up. This is where they get together. They have performed better at home. They've actually won 5 of their last 6 at home against the NFC. They haven't covered 3 of their last 4, though. Me, on the other hand, very, very much going to be my dog of the week. I'm going with the Philadelphia Eagles to win on the road as a non-conference favorite. I just think that this Cincinnati team, after 7 weeks of NFL football, in a pretenders versus contenders matchup, are very much the pretenders. They have not looked good whatsoever on offense without Joe Mixon. Unless they play a bottom 5 pass defense. Cincinnati should not be laying 2.5. This is, to me, a fucking... I guess if you want to give them the home field advantage, they should be at no more than a -1. -1.5. And that's being generous. I think it's wrong team favor. This is a Chewbacca line to me. Jalen Hurts and the Eagles in non-conference spots, 10-1 straight up against the AFC since 2022. That one loss being the Super Bowl. Or sorry, they're 10-1 straight up in the regular season. They're 7-4 ATS. It's 10-2 if you include the Super Bowl. But I just think this is a massive letdown spot for the Bengals. The Bengals look like they're getting a lot of the public money, but I like seeing that the tickets are coming in on the Eagles. So it's not. Well, actually, isn't that the inverse logic if the money's on one side?
Yeah, normally okay. If you have a higher bet percentage but a lower money, that tends to, because the sharps are normally betting more.
Right. But then again, the FanDuel being a public book, you kind of, I've learned to be wary of it. Not too much of a significant difference either. It's like 55 and 57. Look, you just look at these two teams, the Bengals, you take away the Joe Burrow scrambling touchdown against the Giants, take away the kickoff return for a touchdown last week, and do they even cover the last 2 weeks? Do they even really look good without those points on the board? I mean, they essentially got shut down in 2 games by a Giants defense and a Browns defense, who I think the Giants are one thing, but the Browns have not been good all year. So I just think the Bengals are frauds. They're phonies. The Eagles look ugly too. I won't get it twisted. They look bad too, but they have injuries.
A lot of close games, but the Bengals do play a lot of close games against some good teams.
Yeah, but the difference is, though, I look at the Eagles, they find ways to win. Even when they were down against the Saints, they handed it off to Saquon. Saquon found it in the end zone. The game against, even in the game, what was it, 2 weeks ago against Cleveland when they played them, it was ugly. Wasn't that close. Eagles went and won. They kept it competitive. They played defense. They did fine. The week after, they looked ugly in the first half against the Giants, and then they kind of put the foot on the pedal. They got 28 points, and they fucking skunked the Giants. Put belt to ass. The Bengals really haven't been putting belt to ass to anybody. They have not been winning all these games. So why we're laying 2.5 points and picking them as favorites is just really a weird spot to me. So I'm flying with the Eagles on this one. I think this is a good spot for them to get a good win.
Yeah. My potential stat of the game, because there isn't much between these two teams, but I think what could potentially be the difference. Cincinnati 19th in quarterback sack percentage allowed on offense. The Eagles, 5th in sacking the opposing quarterback. The Eagles on offense, they're 29th in quarterback sack percentage allowed. The Bengals, though, one of the worst teams in getting pressure against the opposing team's quarterback. I agree with you. To me, this feels like a WTF game. I think the Eagles are slightly better. Cincinnati's played some games against some good teams, but they also haven't really beat anyone all that good. And I think the strength of the Bengals team offense is passing. And the Eagles actually are much better against the pass than they are against the run. So this is going to be an interesting one. I think it's going to be a close game. And when in doubt, close game, take the points. And I would not be surprised if the Eagles win this one outright. So I endorse your pick. Very close to my fade of the week because Bengals have won 2 straight games, but I got another fade of the week coming. So
you got one better. All right, well, how about this?
Yeah.
How about this? This game is a double best bet for me. This is my under of the week, under 46.5 points.
I endorse that too.
Yeah, I mean, think of it this way, too. Like, the Bengals defense in the last 2 weeks, they played against the Daniel Jones and a Deshaun Watson DTR combo. The Bengals are 22nd in yards per game. Eagles are 5th. The Bengals are 23rd in rushing yards allowed. Eagles are 9th. Bengals are 22nd in points allowed. The Eagles are 7th. Eagles are 5th in passing yards allowed as well. So I just have a feeling this Eagles defense is going to shut down this Bengals team. I love Bengals team total under this week as well. I think right now it sits at 20.5. I could be, or might be 22.5, 23.5. So I love the under team total for there. I just think this is going to be another ugly style Eagles win, but it's really going to be defense. Cooper DeGents going to be back in the safety position. I think that's going to help out the Eagles. It sounds like they're getting a couple guys back as well. And I think CJ Gardner-Johnson, he's going to be able to shut down, he might shut down a couple plays for Jamar Chase. We'll see. I have hesitations on that angle, but I really am just having faith in this Eagles defense more so than the Eagles offense and Jalen Hurts. So love the under. It's my under of the week. 47.5 total points right now, according to FanDuel. I don't know why I said 46, but I think I even got it as high as 48.5 at one point. So just shop around on that number because I think the higher you can get, just hit that under. May even be a ladder bet.
Wow. Okay. Like it. Endorse.
Yep. And as we say,
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Chewbacca.
It's a Chewbacca line. You got to take the dog, folks. Got to take the dog. All right, moving on. We have another non-conference spot. It's the Green Bay Packers now laying 3.5 points. They were opened at 5.5, now down to 3.5, minus 200. The Jags are as plus 168 home underdog. Over-under is set 49.5 total points. Green Bay getting 91% of the money, 88% of the tickets. Green Bay has won 4 of their last 5. The Jags have won 2 of their last 3, surprisingly. Against some really bad teams, though. So, Mansman, a lot of sharps I've heard are potentially siding with Jacksonville here. Is this a spot that the sharps are just looking to fade the Packers for the sake of fading the Packers?
Here's why. And this is probably, I don't know who I'm ultimately going to play in the contest for this. Here's why. There's some numbers that Jacksonville coming back from London, very good. I think they might be like 9-3 ATS in their last 12 games coming back from London. I don't know. I got to look more into that. There was some discussion on one of the podcasts I listened to that Jacksonville is very good coming back from London. Here's the difficult challenge with this game. This is a dropping class letdown spot. You just played Houston in one of the games of the year. You are now going to Jacksonville to play, dropping class for the Packers. Guess who you play the week after? The Detroit Lions in one of the biggest games of the year. This is a letdown sandwich spot against a bad team. I could see why the Sharps like Jacksonville in this spot. 3.5, though. I don't know. That number seems light.
That's a two number drop.
That's the problem.
5.5 to 3.5. I mean,
I think I would have to at this point, and I hate to say it, the SGPN guys would not like this. I think I'd have to lean to the Packers because of that. I just don't like that the number's gone down. And this looks to me like a game that the Packers could win by 5 points, right? Like one of those 24-19, 25-21 sort of games. So I think I'd have to lean to the Packers.
Gotcha. See, I was going to see if I can pull that up real quick, but it looks like not much of a record with the Packers against the AFC South. According to StatMuse, 13-11 record straight up. Packers have won.
Is really bad against.
I'll say this: Green Bay is is that 3-1? Let's see here, 3-1, 4-1, 7-1, 7-2. We'll say 7-3 straight up in their last 10 against the AFC South. They've beaten Jacksonville. Actually, last time they played them was 2020, the COVID year. Won by 4. But that was, I think, was that Blake Bortles? Is that a Blake Bortles year? I mean, that just seems weird. But yeah, but the Packers have won 4 of their last 5 against the AFC South. They're not necessarily the best. This was also Aaron Rodgers under center for the most part. Looking at 2024, Green Bay, they've won 3 straight against the South. They would have covered this. They covered this number against Indy and against Tennessee. They didn't cover last week against Houston, but I mean that kind of comes down to Jordan Love and the turnovers, and I think that's kind of the question here. It's a fade of Jacksonville. For me, I'm picking Green Bay. I liked it at 4.5, but it wasn't nearly my favorite. I like that it's gone down. So I'm going to go with Green Bay here at the 3.5. Really, it's just kind of like, I think Jacksonville's defense is a huge step down to Houston's. I think they really beat the Texans last week because CJ Stroud kind of just got shut down by the Green Bay defense. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is going to have much of a better game than CJ Stroud did. And that's kind of the key here. Like this is a Green Bay defense game where I think they just do enough to shut him down. And Trevor Lawrence under pressure has not been good whatsoever this year. He's taken a lot of sacks. He's been struggling to move the ball on third down as well. So I just give the advantage to Green Bay overall. I have them higher in a power ranking situation. I think Green Bay just at a 3.5, well, you're getting a drop in points. I mean, unless there's an injury or something that I'm missing, which, I mean, I'll double check real quick, but yeah, other than that, I'm just not sure why this line would have moved. Especially if Green Bay's getting the public money.
I think maybe because the Sharps have betted and they're trying to, I don't know, maybe they're trying to avoid some like teaser action or something. I don't know myself. It just feels like a game with where the line has gone, that it's going to be a close game. And surely enough, the last couple of these teams have played have been within like 3 or 4 points. Just feels like a game where Green Bay money line would probably be the way to go. I don't know if I want to lay over a field goal on this Green Bay team, but I don't know, man. I think I'd probably much rather think that Green Bay is going to win a close game and bet the chance that they blow out Jacksonville than like the other way around. I don't.
Gotcha.
I don't know if I'm ready to put Jacksonville in the spot with that bad pass defense.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat. And for that reason, too, I'm going under 49.5. Again, the hedge here, or not the hedge, but the logic being this has to be a Green Bay defense spot, not necessarily Jordan Love. Although, like, I guess the question is, how good does Jordan Love perform as well? You know what I mean? Like, is Jordan Love going to have another 3-touchdown game, 1 rushing touchdown, and then the Packers just kind of in garbage time let the Jags get up to 16-17 and push it to this over 49.5? I have under here. Not a lean, but just think the point total is a little too high. I think the Jags are just getting a little too much respect in this spot, and I'm just not sure why. They beat a fucking Patriots team in London.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah. I mean, they really haven't done anything. So, yeah.
I mean, Caleb Williams fucking demolished this Jags defense. I can only imagine with Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur scheme up here. So I think it's weird that it's dropped, but non-conference spot. Yeah, it's so weird, but I gotta go with my gut here. I'm going with Green Bay. Okay. Next up, we have a big line flip here. Atlanta Falcons, another division road favorite, -2.5 now, -144. Going to Tampa Bay for round 2. Tampa is now catching 2.5. They are +122 home underdogs. The line flip due to the Bucs injuries. Mike Evans out. Chris Godwin on IR. Over-under is 45.5 total points. Atlanta is getting a lot of the money, 74%, 67% of the bets. Yeah, I guess it's my turn. I don't really have too much here. Gut instinct, again. Until the trend dies, I'm just going to go with it. Division road favorites have been very successful. I'll even throw the number that I personally have based on the games we have tracked at the lines where we handicapped it on a Friday. Division road favorites, 9-3-1 ATS, 12-1 on the money line. So they're very successful winning outright. Over 65-70% on the ATS. Big over teams as well, by the way. So Tampa's defense is really bad. I think Atlanta had a really down game last week against Seattle. So I don't expect Tampa to be able to show up. I kind of saw what happened to Baker the minute Mike Evans went out, threw 3 straight picks. Now there's no Chris Godwin. Your receiving core is Sterling Shepard and I think, yeah, I just am not sure why. Like, I don't see this as a spot where you need to play Tampa here. I don't want to get cute here. I don't want to bet on Trey Palmer as wide receiver too. I just don't.
Yeah.
So I'm taking Atlanta on the bounce back.
This is one of those games where honestly I would have loved to bet Tampa Bay coming off a loss, desperation time, looking for revenge after that close loss on Thursday Night Football. But now the spot's just terrible for them. Short rest, cluster injuries at receiver. Atlanta's got a good run defense. Tampa Bay's defense is pretty much ass, like, in general. Really, Atlanta's not going to, blow hard too much on this. Atlanta, to me, is really the only way to look in this game. And I think if you get them under a field goal, I think you take it.
Yeah, I mean, I know the game was close last time, but again, the receiving core for Tampa was healthy. Now it's Baker with a bunch of
them is just a little killer. That's just.
I mean, yeah, you have Baker Mayfield with third string wide receivers. We've seen this narrative before. It doesn't play out well. So I don't know I don't know which sharp it was. It might have been one of the ones on SGPN, but like I think it's getting a little too cute trying to get with Tampa, but I don't want to play it yet. Atlanta might be frauds too.
I really like Tampa. I projected them to win the division, but the cluster injuries are just at least until they get established. Those guys get established, but off a short week, not the best time to get established.
Yeah, no thank you. I want nothing to do with it. Over 45.5 though. Again, that defense is bad. We saw what happened to Atlanta's defense 2 weeks. What was it? 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago on Thursday Night Football. we saw what happened. Baker and Baker's been balling out too. Like, he's been getting his numbers. He has been getting his stats. So I don't have this as my over of the week per se, because again, without the receiving core, I just have too many questions. Could be a Baker letdown spot too, truth be told. So not my over of the week, but I love the over 45.5.
Yeah. I think I agree with that.
Okay, and then I was gonna see, is there divisional matchups? There is. I was gonna say I wanted to see how Atlanta did on over-unders in divisional games, just to see if there was anything there. 5-4. Okay, so nothing too crazy. All right, moving on. We have another divisional game. It's the Baltimore Ravens coming off the Monday night win against Tampa. Speaking of, they are laying 8.5 points on the road. They're minus 430 favorites. This time they are going to Cleveland, where Deshaun, the misogynist, will not be playing for the rest of the year due to injury. He is going up against Jameis Winston, the leader of men, the best speech giver in the NFL, the best motivator, the guy that eats dubs for a winning and then proceeds to lose games. Oh boy, this looks very trappy. Mansman, this looks very trappy to me.
My turn, right?
It is your turn.
This hurts because I really think there's only one way to look in this game. Like, when you look at the Ravens' numbers, it's ridiculous, their numbers. On offense, they're in first in like every category. They're in first in rush defense. Literally, the only thing they're bad at is against the pass. Like, I don't even know who Cleveland's receivers are at this point.
Elijah Moore, Jerry Jeudy, David Njoku.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's really only one way to look in this game. Fade of the week, Cleveland Browns. Let's go. Let's go. We're doing this.
You're doing it.
We're doing
it. Boy.
Fade of the week. Give me Cleveland plus the 8.5.
Please tell me, before you go on, please tell me you got it at a better number.
No, I didn't. I haven't.
Oh, no.
I should have. So here's what I'm thinking in this game, right? Ravens, yeah, they're really good. Their statistics are really good. I'm not saying the Ravens are going to lose. I'm not betting on money line or anything. But they are coming off a short week, back in a 1 p.m. time slot, and you're going to get the most motivated Cleveland Browns team you're going to get all year at home. Jameis Winston starting, leader of the team. This, I think you're getting the best effort from Cleveland. It wouldn't surprise me if you get, a 60% effort from the Baltimore Ravens. I think the last time they played at 1 o'clock, they struggled. Seems like the Ravens have been really good against the NFC and in prime time, and have kind of struggled in their normal games. So this might be a chance to fade the Ravens. I want to fade the Ravens. I'm tired of hearing about how great they are. I think this is the week where Cleveland could keep it close, maybe get a little backdoor cover here, lose the game by 6, maybe lose by a field goal. Give me a close NFC or AFC North game. Give me the Cleveland Browns as my fade of the week. We've said it every week. This week, the Cleveland Browns are going to do it. This week, they're finally going to do it.
I can't fault you. I really can't. Last 5 games these two teams have played, going back to 2021, Cleveland's 3-2. They're 2-1 in the last home games. Oh boy. Look, this here's my over of the week at literally, oh God, did this number skyrocket? It did, but honestly, it doesn't matter. I'll still take it. I don't know what number they would have to set it at for this to make sense to bet it as an under. The Ravens defense is that bad. What's the one thing Jameis can do? Throw the ball. He's going to throw picks too. Don't get me wrong. He's probably going to throw as many interceptions as he does touchdowns, in my opinion. But look, I can't get behind you. I want to. I really do. I have a feeling there's some backdoor coverage situation that might happen. It's a market dynamics call for me. If this was still 10.5, 11.5, I think I'd be with you. To lose essentially.
They haven't beaten.
They beat the Bills. They beat Tampa. They beat the fucking Bengals in overtime. Although that was very fucking fluky.
Dallas by 3.
Well, that was a lot of late comeback. They were blowing them out the whole time.
What the fuck?
There for? Honestly, you know what? I'm glad you said that. You're 100% right. I'm still not betting the Ravens. Don't get me wrong. I'm not betting the Browns. I'm gonna bet Ravens first half though. I mean, it barely did well for me the last time, but
if at first you don't succeed, try.
Exactly. Yeah, Ravens minus 4.5 first half. Oh God, what do I want to lay?
I told you I wanted to lose some money this week.
Yeah, no kidding. I did too. No, man, this is just like I have a Ravens first half. That's minus 4.5. I like that because I have a feeling the Ravens will blow out this Bengals team in the first half, and then in the second half, Jameis is just going to get pure garbage stats, pure garbage numbers, and eventually they might get to a backdoor cover. That's my problem. That's the only way I see the Browns doing this. I don't see the Browns really playing that close here.
I think you're right. Again, I think that Jameis over yards may be the play here.
Yeah, and I think it's pretty low, too. I think it's only set at, like, 250. I'd be very careful, though. I did look up the Jameis Winston numbers as a starter. God, where the hell did it go? Like, he didn't really hit over that number too much. But, again, that's when he was with the Saints, and I think that's when he was with it was just the Saints. I don't think he played on any other team, so.
Yeah. I don't know if they're going to be able to run the ball. That's the only thing. So they're going to have to throw.
Well, they have Nick Chubb. That's my other concern is do they just utilize Nick Chubb in this game?
Against the second-ranked rush defense?
They got to do something. That's my problem, and that's the thing. Like Kevin Stefanski, he's given up play calling duties on offense to I think the OC. I could be wrong. I don't know if that's going to be an improvement or not. That could be a fucking downgrade. We saw like the Jets do the same thing. Oh yeah, Jets, we're going to get rid of Nathaniel Hackett's play calling duties. We're going to give him to someone else. Did Aaron Rodgers look much better? Did any of the play calling look different, really, when they started doing that? Not too much to me.
234.5 for J-Mo.
Go for the over. Ravens defense sucks. Their pass defense is horrid.
That's a tough one.
I do it. Because, again, I could see it in Garbo. I can see it in garbage time. That's my take. All right.
Okay.
Next up, it's the Indianapolis Colts now catching 4.5 plus 190 on the money line for the Colts. They are going on a divisional road matchup to Houston, who just lost to Green Bay. They are minus 230 on the money line. Over under is also 45.5 points. According to FanDuel, the numbers for the money, 79% of the tickets in favor of Houston, and Houston is getting 82% of the money. Houston seems to be a big public team this week. My go. Yeah, this here is my real first attempt to start a fight with Money Mansman. Fade of the week. I am fading the Houston Texans in this spot at home.
What?
Listen, and I'm going to emphasize to be very careful with this number.
This has to be a chart play.
Kind of. This number is it's a fluctuating number between 4.5 and 5.5. I like Indy above 4. I don't like them any lower than 4.5. Well, at 4 when you're pushing it, I don't know if I bet it. But at 4.5 or higher, I'm hitting Indy. I've already hit it twice. I hit it at 5.5. I'm going to hit it at 4.5. Colts are 6-3 ATS under Shane Steichen against divisional opponents overall. They've covered 3 straight as underdogs. Houston has the Thursday Night Football look ahead to the Jets at MetLife, which you might be thinking, well, what the fuck is that worth? Well, teams have been very bad on the Thursday Night Football look ahead. They're 5-8-1 ATS on the year. Since week 5, teams on the Thursday Night Football look ahead have gone 0-6 ATS. The Colts do have a Sunday Night Football look ahead against the Vikings. Their Sunday Night Football look aheads, they go 8-4 straight up. I know everybody hates Anthony Richardson. He has been terrible. The only team he has actually shown up against is this Houston Texans. He did get 2 touchdowns in that game. If you actually do look at the flow chart, it actually might convince you to go with Houston in this spot. This is the reason this is my fade of the week, and I kind of alluded to it. It's a numbers game. Houston has not covered 4.5 against Indy since 2016. At 5.5, they haven't covered that in another year, 2015. This is a spot where, like, you want to play Texans money line, more power to you. You're probably on the right side. I just don't want to revert to betting the Texans as moderate to big favorites again. Even with 5.5, like, that scares me. 4.5 is a little bit better to stomach, but again, take away the Pats game 2 weeks ago. When have you remembered this CJ Stroud-led Houston Texans team winning by more than 6? Ever? I have that answer in front of me, but like I just want you to really think about it. When has CJ Stroud, besides the Patriots, when have they ever
have they even like done it each year?
Nope.
I'm trying to think.
Well, no. Well, they would have covered 5.5 against Chicago.
Oh, New England. Okay. Again.
Yeah, I'm saying other than New England, other than them.
Not this year.
None. Go back last year. They did it 4 times last year. They beat Derek Carr and the Saints by 7. They mollywopped Ryan Tannehill and the Titans, and Kenny Pickett with the Steelers. Back when Matt Canada was offensive coordinator. Like, I just think, like, I don't know if the quarterback is much better. I think Shane Steichen's doing a better job with the Colts than any of those guys were at that point. So, for me, numbers play, fade of the week. Give me the Colts plus 4.5.
Oh, man. You've talked me out of making this my best bet. So congratulations.
Really?
I'm still going with Houston, though. I've been looking to fade this Indianapolis team for a while now. Anthony Richardson's no good, and now he's hobbled. I mean, okay, he's back from injury, but he still got hit. He's still got the hip injury. There's no reason to bet Indianapolis here. I think they got very lucky that first game was a phony final because they got that block punt that got them within 2. That's how they got their touchdown. This Houston defense has been very good. I think they'll continue to be good. I think the Colts are going to struggle. I mean, come on. This is a team that beat Miami by 6 last week. You know, in a lucky win. Now, the Thursday look ahead, that's my stat. You know that definitely that definitely gave me a little bit of pause. Looks like Michael Pittman didn't practice today, so that's something to keep an eye on. Jonathan Taylor looks like he's going to go. I don't know. I
think that's the
Houston's
key.
The better team.
Go ahead. Sorry. I was going to say, I think that's the difference from last week to this week. Jonathan Taylor being in, I think, is going to make a big difference for this offense, especially with a hobbled Anthony Richardson. I think we're going to be able to see them move more efficiently than we did against Miami. But you're on the Texans.
I have a feeling this is going to be like a 7-point game. And it's just going to be a matter of whether, like, the Texans win by 4 or 7. Because I feel like the Texans are going to win by 4 or 7. I might actually bet like Texans to win by like 1 through 10. I may do that.
Oh, dude, point margins. That wouldn't be terrible.
I have a feeling with this game, it's going to be like they're going to win by either 4 or 7 points.
I didn't do this, but I'm going to consider it. This is a great teaser leg, too, if you like the Colts. Tease them up to 10.5. I really love that, personally.
I find no
Might throw
fault
them.
with your reasoning. Thursday, look ahead. They don't beat teams by a lot anyway. See, I'd like yours more, except they're coming off that loss to Green Bay in what was a chippy game. They might be extra motivated to sort of get back to it. And
they barely beat them the first time.
So
that's true.
Keep
that is very true. What do you got on the over-under here? We got it at 45.5.
With the Texans' defense the way it is, I think I'd have to lean under here.
So, interesting stat. I got to find it once again, but the Colts versus the Texans, for some reason, I think it's the Colts. I could be wrong. They average like 28 or 29 points per game against the Texans. Want to say it was in the last 5 to 6 years. Literally, I'm pulling this up right now as we speak.
While you're doing that, 3 games at NRG Stadium this year, 0-3 to the under.
Interesting. Okay, so it was a few of the last 4. So I'm just going to give you the numbers of the Indianapolis Colts team totals just till I get to about 2020. So 2024 last game, Colts got 27. They got 19 last season to end the year against the Texans, where they lost by 4. They scored 31 in 2023. They scored 31 again, 20-20 in that tie in 2022. 31 2021, 31 again. Indy got 27 in 2020 and then 26. After that, it kind of starts to taper off. But for some reason, Houston just gives up a lot of points to Indy. So maybe Indy team total is worth a look.
And Houston's
big over game.
Houston's a regression candidate for me. They're defensively, they are 3rd in opponents' yards per play, but 17th in points per game allowed. So they might be due for a regression as well. I think the Texans defense may get a regression because that's weird to be 3rd in yards per play allowed, but give up that many points.
It is strange.
Again, red zone defense. That's why.
All right. There you go. All right. So we're on different sides once again. We really are going to fight this week. So someone's really going to take the case or lead. That's for damn sure. All right. I think we can agree on this one, though. Tennessee Titans catching 11.5 on the road, plus 460. Going to Detroit, who is laying 11.5. They're minus 620. Detroit's getting 95% of the money, 88% of the tickets. Do you have anything here? Because it might be a Barney move, but do you really want to bet on Tennessee here?
I'm seriously considering playing Tennessee in the contest this week.
Are you fucking serious? You can't be fucking. Do you have a Cinerator? Do you have anything Cinerator right now?
I might have to just so when I lose, I could do the Cinerator. Bro, I told you. Who does Detroit play next week? Green Bay.
Green Bay.
They're just coming off their Super Bowl against Minnesota. They're now playing a dead to rights, dead man walking Tennessee Titans team. What is the emphasis of them running up the score in this game? Why is Detroit going to run up the score?
Because Tennessee will let them. I mean, they literally had a 10-0 lead against Buffalo. And they let them fucking come back and destroy them 34-10.
I mean, you look at it, the Tennessee defense, opponent yards a game, number 1. 2nd in opponent yards per play. Now, Detroit's offense is good. Look, I mean, I think money line, we know who's going to win this game. The question is Detroit going to cover 11.5? They might win this game by 10 easily. Mason
Josh Allen threw for 323 yards against this Titans defense. That's the supposed number one. No picks either way. They gave up 2 rushing touchdowns on top of that. That was against the Bills. I mean, no offense. I would say that the Lions are a much better team than the Bills right now. So,
I'd agree with that.
I have no issue laying the 11.5 here. And again, not a best bet candidate by any means, but like, I'm not scared of the number. Like, this just seems like a game they win by 20 plus. If I could get Detroit Lions Sorry, what was that?
No, Detroit middle of the road defense, so no weaknesses there really. It's good enough.
Yeah, here we go. AFC non-conference underdogs on the road. 3-11 straight up. They're 6-8 ATS. The Titans have lost 4 straight on the road against the NFC. They only covered 1 out of those 4. The Lions, meanwhile, are 7-1 ATS. They're 6-2 straight up against the AFC in their last 8. They've won and covered 4 straight as favorites against the AFC. So, Titans are no good. Mason Rudolph, again, he's the upgraded quarterback, but not the upgrade to the team. So, give me the 11.5 for Detroit. I'm going with it.
God, is there anything in the Titans? They lost to Green Bay by 16.
The one thing I heard, and I'll give credit to SGPN because this is where I'm going to get it from. The one credit I got was that Tennessee is very good at stopping the run, albeit, like I said, last week, not so much. And I think Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, much better running back duo than what Buffalo has right now. But Buffalo put on a very good performance. If Tennessee manages to stop the run for whatever reason, then Jared Goff is going to struggle because he's going to have to pass so much. What I hear is that when...
Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Basically, like, if you remember the Monday night game where he had a perfect game, he only threw 18 times. You look at last week where he had another good game, he threw for like less than 30. It's like when Jared Goff has to throw 35 or more is the games he tends to struggle. If you look at the Tampa Bay game, Tampa Bay shut down the run game for Detroit, and then Detroit had a hard time moving the ball down the field. So in theory, like, if you're Tennessee and you have a really good defense, you shut down the run game, Jared Goff is going to struggle. And basically, you make the Lions beat themselves. That's how you get Tennessee to cover this 11.5. So it's not impossible, but I just don't see it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the look ahead, and I mean, come on, it's Detroit's still third in the league in passing yards per game, 9.3 yards a pass, number 1 in the league. This is going to be tough. I don't know if I'm actually.
All right, tell you what. Would you bet Incinerator on this spread? Let's see if you're real. Let's see how you really feel. Would you bet Incinerator?
I feel like we have to now. I feel like we'll make this. What's the number you have? 11.5?
11.5.
11.5. Let's see. What's DK say? Can I get a better number on DK? Not that it's going to matter. Okay, it's 11.5 on DK. All right, well, what the hell?
Let's go.
I'm going to be doing this city, but that's okay. 11.5. I don't know. I have a feeling this could be a weird week. We'll see.
It very well could be. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna scare myself out of a team that is clearly better. On the other hand, though, it's I think we're into the 4:00 slate now. Yes, we are. We're finally into the 4:00 games. Jesus Christ. Saints 7-point dogs plus 280 going to LA Chargers. SoFi Stadium minus 350 for the Chargers, laying 7. Over-under is 41.5. The Chargers are only getting 51% of the bets, though. They are getting 67% of the money. Yeah, look. Losing teams coming off of Thursday Night Football. They've covered 3 straight weeks. The Chargers just blew a game to Arizona where they literally fumbled the ball into their own end zone to give the ball away. Then again, the Saints are very fucking horrendous on offense under Desmond Ridder from Wish. I'm sorry. I meant Derek Carr. Wait, no, Spencer Rattler. In all seriousness, I have no fucking feel for this game. If I was opted to pass a game, this is my pass game where I just want nothing to do with it. Here's the stats I'm going to throw out, and again, folks, just do what you want with it. NFC non-conference underdogs, 8-3 ATS this year. The problem I have is that this Saints defense is more horrid than the Panthers, especially against the run. What's the one thing Harbaugh loves to do? Run the rock. Chargers have covered 5 straight against the NFC South. They've covered 3 straight as favorites against the NFC South. And at power rankings, even though I downgraded the LA Chargers, I'm not at the point where they're like neck and neck with the Saints. 7 or less for the contest. If it's 7 or less, I'm going LA. Any more, the trend tells me I have to pick the Saints. I'm going to look at considering doing that. The Saints have covered 3 straight as road underdogs against the AFC. And in 4 games with DA, all 4 of these hit the under. So, for me, like, if the Saints are going to cover, it's going to be a very boring shutdown game. The Saints have a regression. And I don't know if the Saints are a close your eyes special, but they did lose by 20 plus last week on the spread. So, it's ugly. The Saints are a very ugly dog this week that I think you should... If there's one dog that's ugly you should consider, I would pick the Saints. But
my concern is the coaching edge in this game. But I'm with you. I agree. I don't have much on this. I'm with you. I think this is kind of an avoid game for me. If I'm going to play it, I think when in doubt, take the points. And yeah, I think if it's above 7, because this feels like a game the Chargers win, 13-7, 16-10, something stupid like that. You're looking at the Chargers, and I didn't realize this. 4 yards a rush on offense. Like, we talk about how great their rushing attack is. The statistics don't necessarily bear that out. Chargers are much more a defensive team than they are an offensive team. You look at some of their numbers, 17.7 points a game on offense, 26th in the league. Yards per play, 21st in the league. The problem is the Saints' defense is so terrible. They're bad against the run, but I wonder if this Chargers team takes advantage. Like, I don't know. I would think the Chargers will probably find a way to win this game at home, but New Orleans coming off a long rest, Chargers on short rest. The last time we saw this, I remember the Seattle game, that bit us in the ass when we played them against the Giants. I'm wondering if this is going to be another one of those. I think it's Saints or nothing.
I agree. 100%. Under game as well for me on this one, under 41.5. I don't like the number, though. 41.5 seems very trappy. Because I have a feeling, like, can't you see this being like a 28... God, like, I don't even know how I... 28-14. You're looking at a 32. I mean, I don't even know if that makes sense. I'm trying to figure out how the spread makes sense, but then you blow the cover. Like, can't you see the Saints finally doing something on offense? Being 2 scores down, and in the 2-minute drill, they fucking get it within 1 touchdown, and they get a 2-point conversion to get the cover, and it blows the over. Like,
my only concern in this game is Harbaugh. That's my big fear in this game is Harbaugh. But I don't think the Chargers should be 7 points favorites in this game. That seems really high.
Yeah, no, it seems. I mean, then again, the Saints are that bad, so I don't know. It's going to be a wait and see. Here we go, though. We got your team. It's yours to give the handicap for, so I'll give you the honors once I introduce it. The Buffalo Bills, laying 3 on the road, minus 164. Traveling once again on the road all the way to Seattle, who is a 3-point dog, plus 138, over-unders 46.5. Buffalo getting 78% of the money, 73% of the tickets. Mansman, it's your team. Do us the honors.
Oh, boy. So, again, normally, at this point in proceedings, you would say Bills play Miami next week. They tend to be super focused in the games before they play Miami. This is a Seattle team that they should be able to beat, even though they're on the road. I don't think Seattle is particularly good. I don't think their defense is particularly good. I think the Bills' offense can succeed and sort of have their way with them. 28 in opponent yards per rush for Seattle's defense, 18th against the pass. So they're not very good. Their defense is not very good. We know that. Here's a couple concerning things, though. No Carter, the rookie defensive tackle for the Bills. No Terrell Bernard in the game, which means we're going to see Balin Spector against Kenneth Walker. That concerns me in this game. I don't like that. But I don't know. I guess maybe this is a Bills homer. I think Josh Allen could do enough in this game to get the win. It's only 3. I think the Bills are a better team. So I know there are some things going against the Bills in this one. But maybe Geno throws a couple interceptions. I'll go Bills here with not a lot of confidence. I think in the game before they play Miami, even though it's a look-ahead spot, I think the Bills find a way to get it done.
Very well, then. Money Mansman, I brought up 2 games ago, there was an AFC side to the non-conference matchup. Are you ready for the other side of that coin?
Okay.
The AFC non-conference road favorites had gone 7-2 straight up in ATS this year. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Cine number 2 for when this bet bites me in the ass. My best bet, favorite of the week, Buffalo Bills, minus 3.
Oh, man, I want some of your confidence. I'm scared for this game. I'm terrified. I want some of your confidence.
Okay, so I know the Bills really can't stop the run or the pass. Geno Smith over passing yards is a play. Normally, DK Metcalf is doubtful for this game. Tyler Lockett has been a shell of himself. Jackson Smith-Njigba, who the fuck is he? He hasn't done shit all year as far as I'm concerned. The Bills have actually been very good in these spots, especially before the Dolphins. They've won 6 straight against the NFC teams as non-conference road favorites. 5-1 ATS in that span. The Bills average 37.5 points in those games. Bills team total over, hitting that. These are the spots. I love it. This is a spot the Bills could go into Seattle and just beat the piss out of this team that is injured. They only have a Kenneth Walker Jr., who, let's be honest, he might get injured by halftime. They'll run him 20 times in the first half. He'll sit. This is a fucking Seattle team that's just so suspect. The Seattle defense literally is coming off their best performance, Super Bowl, against this Falcons team, who I think me and you have had questions about all fucking year. Probably should have faded the Falcons last week, and we didn't. Seattle, depending on the numbers you've gotten this year, it's give or take 1-2 ATS against the AFC all year. They beat a lowly Miami Dolphins right after the Tua concussion in week 3. 2-0 ATS is home underdogs against the AFC, but they beat Russell Wilson because Brandon McManus went for a 63-yarder because fuckface Hackett was the coach. The other team they beat was Mike White and the New York Jets. Both of those games were 2 years ago. Very different Seattle team, very different spot. Seattle's getting an upgraded opponent. DK Metcalf is not playing. That just kills any offensive momentum. DeMar Hamlin might get his 3rd interception for the year, match his jersey number. And it's the week before the Dolphins, where we know the Bills, even in week 1, where it was a fluky Cardinals game, that win looks a little bit better now, considering Arizona's kind of had some fucking backbone this year, beating a lot of good teams that we thought. So, and it was a comeback win too. So, like, even if Seattle does get up to an early start, it's never stopped Josh Allen or the Bills yet. I don't know why it'll stop them now. So, add a field goal or less, really, and the line hasn't moved since DK was out. Hasn't moved. Don't know if that's a trap or not.
Another thing, too, I just read. Kenneth Walker battling illness.
Go get this Bills now. I am telling you, management, get it now. Because I guarantee you come game time, this shit might jump up to 4.5. If Kenneth Walker's out and DK, this line skyrocket. I'm telling you. This could be bad. That is absurd. What's your over-under angle here at 47.5?
I think you got to go over some. There's a couple guys banged up in the Seahawks secondary. I told you about the Bills' defensive injuries. And I just think Josh Allen, the last time he played Seattle, over 400 yards passing. So there's that angle.
Yeah, I'm on the over as well here. It's not going to be by too much, but it's my overplay. All right. Next up on the 4 o'clock slate, Chicago Bears laying 3 on the road, minus 154. Going to the Washington Commies, a.k.a. the Commanders, a.k.a. the Redskins, a.k.a. the football team, a.k.a. Washington Redskins. Go fuck yourself. Oh, come on. Of course.
Washington Redskins, go f yourself.
There we go. Commies are catching 3 at home. Marcus Mariota probably going to start. Mansman. I'm catching the 3. I got a weird feeling about this game. I just don't know if I like Caleb Williams on the road. I don't like the number. I don't know if the Bears going on the bye after that London win, they were smelling themselves after that game. Caleb Williams beat like a fraudulent Jags. Commies defense has looked a little bit better over the last few weeks, but a lot of regression teams. The Giants were 1 early in the season. They just came off a game against the fucking Panthers. The week before, they played the Ravens. Held the Browns to 13. Held the Cardinals to 14. I'm just not sure what to make of this Commanders defense. And when in doubt, I'm taking the points. So it's really a fate of Caleb Williams and this Bears team. I just think it's a no-show spot for them. And this is the weird fluke. This is the weird game of the week for me. Like, I don't think Mariota's that bad.
I got to say, I don't like it that much at 3. So, weird spot because the Commanders do play the Giants next week. Although I don't know if I'd necessarily call that a look ahead because the Giants are freaking god awful at this point in time.
Yeah.
I myself, I don't know. I've heard a couple sharps on Washington. I'm not really as high on Washington without Jaden Daniels as the sharp. So I think I'd have to go Chicago here. I think Chicago's defense is probably the best unit on the field. And I just don't think Marcus Mariota is that good. Oh, yeah, he looked really good. You were playing an XFL team. The Carolina Panthers, and trust me, we're going to get to the Broncos-Panthers game in a minute.
Yeah, we are.
The Carolina Panthers are no good. Simple as that. They're no good. Bryce Young's starting at quarterback again. To me, I think Mariota's no good. He's going to play a real defense. I think he's going to have trouble. I think it could be a close game, but, Washington doesn't have a great home field. They're going to be down because Daniels isn't going to be playing. Give me the Bears in this one. The Bears.
Duh, Bears.
Damn, we're fighting.
God, we really are. 43. I'm not strong on the
year? You remember the beginning of the year when we bet like every game the same? What the fuck happened?
I told you it's a weird week. Like, I had a feeling this is a weird week where the lines are gonna fuck with things, including our fucking mojo and our teamwork. I just don't fucking know what else to say. What's your over/under take? I got over 43.5 in this game, which is where it's still at. The Commies are a big over team in general, albeit most of that was with Jaden Daniels, but the Commanders' defense, again, suspect. If you like the Bears, I would think you like the over. You think they're going to score on them, and Mariota just can't keep up.
See, I don't. I'd almost want to play like Washington's team total under, just because I feel like they might struggle against the Bears' defense. It's close, though. I can see why you'd look over for the game, because I could see maybe Chicago gets like a late turnover or two, get some late points.
Okay, yeah, I can see it. Washington 3-2 is home dog since 2023 on the over, so slightly leans on that trend.
Commanders are like 20.5 point wise, between 19.5 and 20.5.
If you don't like Mariota, hit the under.
Yeah, 20.
But I could see, but I could see it being like a 30-14. Chicago 31-14, something along those lines. That's right. We got 4 games left, 2 more 4:00 games, then 2 more prime times. Let's talk about it. Or we could just skip it. I wouldn't mind if we skip this one. The Carolina Panthers 10.5 point road dogs plus 430. Going to Denver, Mile High Stadium. Denver's 10.5 point home favorites for the first time probably since Peyton Manning. Minus 590 on the money line. Over under 40.5. First and foremost, before we get started, shout out and prayers up to Josh Reynolds, victim of a gun shooting incident earlier this week. He is okay. No major damage or anything crazy, but yeah, one of their wide receivers who was pretty much absent all year legitimately got shot. Not sure how much of an impact that has, but that is crazy. Oh God, do we have to talk about this? Do we really have to talk about this game?
Yeah, we do. Big look ahead for you guys. You play Baltimore next week.
Well, the Broncos have won 5 of their last 6 as home favorites. 4-2 ATS in that span. Would have loved this more at 9.5 and should have bet it then. This feels like the trap line of the week. Why is Denver this big of a home favorite? Other than the fact that it's Carolina and Bryce Young.
Bryce Young against the number 1 defense in football.
Oh, yeah. Look. The number scares me. I'm not betting this game. I'm not going to tell you to go bet Carolina. I would never suggest that. But look, if you do, here's the logic. The Broncos' offense is probably a step down to Mariota right now. And that's on the theory that you don't like Bo Nix. I admittedly love the kid. I think he has some inconsistencies with his feet movement. But overall, I like what we've seen. Defensively, though, like you said, the Panthers are fucked. Bryce Young is now the quarterback, given the Andy Dalton situation with the car accident. Glad he's okay as well. Key thing for me is Pat Surtain is coming back. Other logics for Carolina? I'm throwing this out there. Do what you want with it. This is all I can say. Here's the numbers I found. Use it for whatever. Denver is 5-6 ATS after a win under Sean Payton. Teams that lost by 30 or more the week before are 76-47-6 ATS since 2004. 64% clip. When they are dogs of 4 or more the week after, 50, 19, and 2 ATS, 73%. This year, though, Carolina has lost by at least 25 or more twice. That was week 1 to the Saints and then week 5 against the Bears. In both of those instances, the week after, they lost and failed to cover as well. They are the anti-close your eye special. I should do a Cine for this because I have a bad feeling at 10.5, but I don't have a choice. You go Denver or nothing.
Yeah.
I'm not confident.
Yeah.
I'm scared.
No, this is Denver or nothing. I mean, think about Josh Reynolds gets shot, so they're going to play for Reynolds. I'm really tempted. I wish the number were lower. This would be my best bet, but I'm not going to do it. There's another game that I'm waiting for to make my best bet.
There's 3 games
But
left.
They're going to win one for Reynolds. They're going to win one for Reynolds. Remember the Demaryius Thomas game? When Demaryius Thomas got, I told you against Detroit that Denver was going to win. They were.
You know what? I'm calling it. I already called a Cine bet. I'm calling this. Oh, it scares me. Are we both going to make this our... I already gave him my best bet. Are we betting this together? Are we going to corp the Broncos?
Let's see how we do 1 o'clock.
All right, I can do that. That's a deal. That's a deal.
We'll
I can
keep
make
it.
that.
We'll keep it loosey goosey.
Okay.
Yeah. No. I mean, just think about it though. Denver has an extended rest period. They are playing at home the week after a guy got shot. Is Carolina going to even score in this game? I don't know. I mean, I guess it's possible. I guess I could see Denver winning by 8. So I don't know. 10.5's a lot. But I think you got to look Denver or nothing here.
Teams coming off Thursday Night Football 3-3.
Yeah, but Denver's clearly the better team here.
I think anybody is clearly the better team than Carolina. I have them dead last in my power rankings. It's not in.
They play the Saints next week in Carolina, and that might be the only week I bet Carolina all year.
We'll see what the number is. Over game as well, 40.5. Not by much, but again, I like Denver. You got to think if they're going to cover this. And this went from 43 to 40, so yeah, definitely hitting the over on this game at 40.
I just think the question is, can Carolina even get any points? I don't think you're going to hit the over if Carolina doesn't score, and I don't know if they're going to score in this game.
That's a good point. All right, moving on. Last 4 o'clock game, Kansas City. Oh boy, they're 9.5 point road favorite, minus 430 against the Las Vegas Raiders.
God,
Plus 340. Plus 340 on the money line. Over under 41.5. Chiefs getting 89% of the money, 81% of the bets. This was your old man's team. don't know how he feels, and I don't know how he would feel about this spot now. Oh boy.
I think he'd be
There's
ready
only
for this to be over.
Oh,
What I think. I think
I
he'd
can't
be
blame
cheering
you.
for the World Series and the Knicks, who are good. Think it,
Oh, the
his
Knicks.
will be over. Yeah.
Would he be on the Side Talk New York videos where just chanting and losing shit, chugging Henny? I don't know about chugging Henny, but
No.
just losing.
Maybe back in his youth. Not at the end.
That's okay. All right, Kansas City. They're essentially 10-point favorites.
Oh, okay. I guess it's my turn, right? Yeah, it's my turn.
Yeah, I went with Denver. So
I mean, this is sad because this is such a Barney play, but like the Raiders are imploding at the seams. They picked up Desmond Ritter. This seems close. Oh, and by the way, they made fun of Patrick Mahomes. Remember the sock puppet with Kermit the Frog? Yeah,
I
this
do.
game's gonna. Oh, and remember the last time they played when the Raiders beat them by like 3 touchdowns? Yeah, this is the Kansas City revenge game.
Yeah.
This is a bullshit handicap, but I'm sorry, I don't see it any other way. I think Kansas City just cruises in this game. I think this is punishment time.
Oh boy. So remember when the Raiders beat the lowly Chiefs last year in the second game of the year in this matchup in an upset on Christmas? Does anybody remember though?
Yeah.
How the Raiders got consistently blown out by the Chiefs? They've lost 6 straight against them as underdogs. Remember how they went 2-4 ATS in that span as well? Remember how the Raiders have never beaten Patrick Mahomes at home? Remember how they're only 2-4 ATS against Patrick Mahomes? None of which was without Derek Carr. Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. Yeah, they've won 3 straight against the Raiders in Vegas. And the Raiders since January of 2023 are 2-5 straight up. They're 3-1 ATS as home dogs. And the Chiefs are 4-1 straight up, 3-1 ATS in their last 5 as road favorites against divisional opponents. Chiefs are nothing. Chiefs by 1 million in a revenge spot.
Yeah. Hit the Mahomes 2 touchdown props. No, a lot of
Go
people are
Kermit.
talking about that.
Ooh, what's the number?
What is the number?
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, this Chiefs are nothing. I have a feeling. I have a feeling this is one of those Chiefs games where it's like, oh, why would I bet it at 10.5 when I could bet it at 20.5? And it's bad too because it's like you would think, oh, the Raiders, this is their Super Bowl, but I don't think they have a prayer of.
Oh, 2 touchdowns, minus 120.
I have passing TDs over 1.5, minus 110 on FanDuel.
Get out. That's wild. It's minus 120 on DK, but I could see what it is on like Fanatics and all the other books. But I got nothing else here. I do weirdly enough have this as an under game, although I'll be honest with you, probably shouldn't. But yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't know how
I got no
going to score in this game. That's the problem.
I'm not
I
sure.
go Raiders under. I don't know how they're going to score.
Yeah. All right. Sunday Night Football. We got the Dallas Cowboys coming off of the bye week. Oh, and the line has just shifted. It is now a 3.5-point dog, plus 176 on the money line. They're going to San Francisco. Minus 210 on the money line for the Niners. Over-under is 47.5. The Niners are not getting any of the money. They're not getting the tickets. Dallas is getting 52% of the money. The tickets are split, though.
Oh, geez.
Okay.
You give your handicap. I'll be right back.
Okay. I will try.
To take a rest meeting.
Okay. All right, so here we go. Dallas is getting a lot of love from the Sharps this week. A lot of the Sharps don't like the San Francisco 49ers injuries. They do not like that the Niners are coming off of a loss to Kansas City. They are in back-to-back home games where the Niners have not done well this year. I think the Niners have maybe won one home game all year. I'm going to double check right now, but let's see here. They lost to the Cardinals. They lost to the Chiefs this week. Week 1, they did beat the Jets in primetime. Well, we're getting the Niners once again in primetime. This is Dallas coming off the bye week after a disastrous belt-to-ass performance against the Lions the week before in week 6. So technically the biting kneecaps trend doesn't apply here because Dallas went into the bye week, so now they're kind of coming off of the bye. Where right now teams coming off of the bye are currently, according to my stats, I thought I had the stats here. Teams heading into the bye. I do not have teams coming off the bye. That is unfortunate. I thought I had it.
Oh, I have returned. Who did you go with?
I was still going for it. I was giving you time. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, because I didn't fucking update it. Well, at week 6, teams coming off of the bye were 3-1 straight up, 2-2. So, I think some of the numbers are leaning towards Dallas. A lot of the Sharps are on them. Here's my problem. Why is Dallas such a good bet here? What exactly did Dallas fix on their offense in one bye week, where all of a sudden taking them as 4.5-point underdogs makes sense? Did they learn how to fucking utilize the run with old ass Zeke Elliott in the bye week? I don't know. More importantly, though, the Dallas defensive side, Micah Parsons and Deron Bland is out. So what exactly is this Cowboys defense going to stop against the Niners? And again, I always hear, well, the Niners injuries. Okay, well, they don't have Christian McCaffrey, but Jordan Mason's been doing fine. Well, Brandon Ayuk's out on IR. Okay, he was essentially like a replaceable wide receiver too. An emphasis on replaceable because it's a Kyle Shanahan offense. Everybody's replaceable in a Kyle Shanahan offense. That's kind of been the point of a Kyle Shanahan offense. George Kittle's questionable, but he practiced this week. Sounds like he's starting. Deebo Samuel, he had an injury. He had an illness. Questionable, limited practices. Sounds like he's playing. Trent Williams, rested, practiced. He's fine. Nick Bosa, practiced. Sounds like he's starting. No questionable game status. Juwan Jennings is out. Oh no, I'm scared. I don't know if I like betting the Niners. The Niners they're just so injured, and really, so that makes betting on Dallas a good idea. Fuck the Sharps this week. I'm fading the fuck out of them. Favorite in Sunday Night Football is very profitable. The Niners are at home. Dak Prescott on the road. I'm not betting money on Dak Prescott on the road. Are you out of your fucking mind? I'm not doing it. And listen to this shit, dude. San Francisco is 8-1 straight up in ATS in their last 9 against the NFC East. That one loss was the NFC Championship in 2022 when Brock Purdy got hurt. The Cowboys kicker is literally out due to jury duty. And the Cowboys have not scored more than 20 points in 4 of the 6 games they've had this season. So once again, Mansman, I'm going with the Niners, but why the fuck is betting on Dallas a good idea?
Well, I mean, I know you like your Sunday night stat, but didn't Dallas win outright as an underdog on Sunday Night Football early in this year?
That was against Pittsburgh, yes. In a weird spot because there was a thunder delay.
Dallas is 3-0 on the road this year, buddy. I will
San
say,
Francisco's
I'll give you this. This is one where you're going to want to be careful because the injuries, they very well, like Debo could play, Kittle could play, Mason could play. I don't know how injured they're going to be. Feel like you're betting San Francisco really as low as they're going to be all year. But then again, are you? I mean, they're still like a 4-point favorite at home against Dallas coming off the bye. This is my dog of the week, Dallas Cowboys. I'm rolling with the
Oh,
Bucs.
no.
I have a feeling this is going to be a sharp week, buddy.
Oh,
I
boy.
think Dallas the bye. To me, here's my problem with this. I don't understand. Like, the Niners are still getting respect as if they are a top 5 team. They're 3-4, the Niners. They're not that good. Like, NFL power rankings, 16th this week. Dallas is at 19th. Like, the Niners are not a top 5 team, and they're like Cincinnati. They just keep getting money over and over and over. They were a favorite last week against Kansas City. Why?
Well, we knew that was a bad, but we knew that was a bad line. We knew that was dumb in a pick'em. We knew that was a bad spot. This week does not feel that way.
This week, let's see. One of their top 2 receivers is out for the year. The other one's battling illness. Their tight end is limited in practice. Their running back is limited in practice. Like, maybe it's just the injuries are finally catching up with the Niners. I mean, don't get me wrong. I could look very stupid. We've seen Dallas lay eggs, lose 38-3. So it wouldn't surprise me if I get completely embarrassed this week. I don't know, though. The Sharps
Dallas just took.
I feel like the power rankings support Dallas.
Do you want to bet on Dallas after they took belt to ass against Detroit?
Yeah, kind of. That's a good bounce back for them. Close your eyes special.
Well, no, because they're coming off the bye.
Yeah, but it's their first game back. They lost by like 70. I'm buying low on the Cowboys.
I think we could. God. All right, I'll leave it alone for now. God,
how many things are we doing?
We only have one, and we have a Broncos corp bet potential in the lines, but that's a later topic. Last game, Giants they're catching 5.5 plus 220 on the money line. Monday Night Football, Steelers minus 270. 5.5 point home favorites. Over under is a Hall of Fame game, 36.5 total points. Pittsburgh, 85% of the bets, 86% of the money. Russell Wilson, my boy.
Yeah, your quarterback. He's your
That's
boy.
That's my quarterback. All right, Monty Mansman, do I have to give the numbers? Or do you want to take the honors?
No, why don't you give them and then I'll make my play. You should know that I haven't given out my best bet yet. So
yeah, first of all, whoever made the schedule this year and thought, let's put the Jets and the Giants on as many fucking primetime games this year in the first 8 weeks, officially go fuck yourself. You are a bitch. You are a scrub. You don't know football. Get the fuck out. All but week 2, the Jets and the Giants, or even the fucking Steelers and the Bills, have all been in a primetime game. They've had at least, a couple marquee matches, but all 4 of those teams have played in a primetime game all year this year.
this is the same more this year.
And there's more. Like, what the fuck? So here we go. Daniel Jones in primetime. You fade the shit out of him. He's 1-14 straight up in his career. The Giants, as a franchise, are 1-9 straight up on Monday Night Football since drafting Daniel Jones. That one win was not with Daniel Jones. It was with fucking Tommy Cutlets. Tommy DeVito. In favor of the Giants, though.
Do it. Oh, you're still going? Okay.
I had real quick. The Giants are 3-1 ATS in road Monday Night Football games since 2019. The Giants, they should be 2-0 ATS as underdogs, but they're only 1-1 ATS. The Giants are 2-1 straight up, and ATS is road. Oh wait, I already said that. Yeah, I'm done. Small numbers, not really relevant. The Giants still don't have Andrew Thomas. The Steelers somehow look better with Russ. Here you go.
Yep.
Just
Okay, thank you for the lead up. I'll give some anecdotal. We saw what the Giants O-line looked like without Andrew Thomas last week against the Eagles. Are they going to have much more success against TJ Watt and the Steelers defense? I don't think so. You thankfully gave the Daniel Jones primetime numbers. I don't know why he's still starting, especially with his injury clause. Like, it's time to get him out of there before they have to pay him for next year. This is, once again, and you look at the Steelers, the Giants' defense has not been good against the run. 32nd on rush yards per play. Now, probably due to Saquon Barkley. Well, we know the Steelers are going to run the ball. They're second in the league in rushing attempts per game. So when you look at this game, all things considered, best bet, Pittsburgh Steelers. You cannot bet the Giants in prime time under any circumstances. Steelers are at home, headed into the bye. Big game for them. They'll win, I think, fairly comfortably. I'd be surprised. I think you bet Daniel Jones under passing because I don't know if he's playing in the second half of this game. So that's my play. Best bet, Pittsburgh Steelers.
yeah, I think I'm joining you in this venture. I mean, you can't bet the Giants here. They've looked so bad. Daniel Jones hasn't thrown a touchdown in, was it 2 straight games? He hasn't thrown it. I mean, he's on the road, but it doesn't matter. You can get Russell Wilson 225 passing yards at plus 160.
Oh. Do you think they're going to throw again? They're not.
Yeah, I guess. Passing touchdowns, over under. Passing yards. Daniel Jones under 200 passing yards, minus 120. If you don't even think he sees the second half, I mean, seems like a lock, but.
Yeah, I don't know if he even sees the second half of this game. I mean, you look at who the Giants have played well against. Offensively, the Seahawks, their defense is no good. And then pretty much no one else. They scored 21 against the Browns.
Cleveland. They beat Cleveland.
Games they've scored 10. Yeah. They scored 15 against. They scored 18 against Washington. They haven't scored over 20 points. And they scored over 20 one time. They're not doing anything against Pittsburgh's defense.
What is the team total here? Oh my lord, it's a lowly 15.5.
I mean, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think that's a unit right there. I got to. I don't have a choice. Well, I do have a choice. It's gambling, but
yeah, I think Danny Ball under passing yards. I think he's gonna get murked.
Ooh, yeah, I'll play that too. Again, I said I'm gonna be better about playing these player props we like. I got to get it live while I can, so we're just gonna hit these up. All right, that was it. 15 games. We're at the 2-hour mark, bro. Any final words, comments, concerns before we get the fuck out of here?
No, we've gone long. Let's wrap it up.
All right, best bets. Lay them out for me.
Yeah, right. Best bets. So best bet, Pittsburgh Steelers against the Giants at whatever number. I'd go up to 6.5 to tell you the truth. Dog of the week, Dallas Cowboys. Fade of the week, fading the best team in football, Baltimore Ravens. And my little bonus play was the under in Jets Patriots.
Ooh, there you go. All right, best bet for me, Buffalo -3 as a non-conference road favorite. That makes me sick. Dog of the week, give me the Philadelphia Eagles. That game is also my under of the week at under 47.5 points. Fade of the week, fading the Houston Texans, take the Colts at plus 5.5 or 4.5 now it is, according to FanDuel. So shop around on that number. And finally, my over of the week, over 45.5 points in the Baltimore-Cleveland game. I got nothing left here. I am Steve, Big Bucks of Beta.
Money Management signing off, and as always,
Go win that motherfucking